got the chains. After the car got stuck on that hunting trip and we had to wrench branches off the trees to get some kind of traction. Carden cramped the wheels of the car toward the side of the road where there was the hill instead of the ravine, made sure the parking brake was set, shut off the ignition, and got out. He stretched his cramped limbs, drew in a deep breath, was surprised to smell a faint geranium-like odor, and found himself lying on his back in a cool, dark place, able to sense the position of his body, but unable to move. Feeling a sense of grim satisfaction that he had at least discovered part of what had happened, Carden filed away that geranium scent for future reference. Before he had time to do anything else, a vertical gray line appeared on the wall opposite him. The line rapidly widened to a gray block, with the shadow of a low mound at its base. The mound moved, like a loose pile of rope from which a free end rose up of its own accord to hold horizontally what appeared to be a short length of pipe. There was a hiss, and a geranium-like scent was strong in the air. Carden was aware, first, of a lapse of time. Then he sensed that he was on his feet, held upright by something that gripped him under each arm and at the waist, knees, and ankles. What felt like a set of padded clamps pressed against the sides of his head. There was a faint prickling sensation across his forehead and along the top, both sides, and back of his head. It felt to Carden as if a great many sharp points were evenly pressed against his scalp. Directly behind him there was a conversation going on that he couldn't quite get into focus, while somewhere in front of him and off to his left there was a sound of splashing. Carden cautiously tried to move his limbs, and got no response. He mentally summarized what he knew of his situation, and discovered that all he knew was that he was unable to move, and was in a dark, cool place where he had seen a shadow that made no sense, and now heard various sounds that added up to nothing familiar. He wished to get out of this place, but paralyzed from head to foot, how was he to do it? Carden mentally grumbled to himself, and an habitual impulse went out that would ordinarily shift a dead cigar from one corner of his mouth to the other. Then there was a pause, corresponding to the time needed to puff the cigar alight, and then Carden was deep in thought. His thought wasn't in words or logic, but was a mental groping, with an inner sensation like that of a man in a darkened room searching through the things in his pockets for a match. In time, Carden's thoughts seemed to gradually focus, and then come to a point, and there rose up from the depths of his unconscious a mood, a set of attitudes, like those of a man who fits the point of a wedge into a crack, then eyes it calculatingly, and reaches for a sledgehammer. At the same instant he thought, "Somebody wants to know something." With this thought, impulses started out along certain nerves that would ordinarily slightly narrow his eyes and adjust the cigar between his clamped teeth at a certain specific angle that produced, in even his most pugnacious associates, a twinge of foreboding, followed by a state of maximum alertness. Then he became aware of an odd effect that had been going on for some time without his being conscious of it. From behind him came the conversational gabble he had heard before, an out-of-focus noise like an earnest discussion being carried out on the other side of a thick wall. But now, after each comment, words formed in Carden's consciousness, as if an interpreter were translating the discussion for his benefit. The lag between gabble and translation decreased, and it suddenly occurred to Carden that he seemed to be getting the meaning a little ahead of the translated words. He listened carefully and heard, "How does that show up on your dwell meter now?" "Still too big a spread. Am I doing something wrong?" "You're overcorrecting here." "Oh, I see." Just before the two sounds merged, Carden was sure that he was getting the meaning a fraction of a second ahead of the translated words. It seemed first a meaning came to him, and then a part of his own mind translated the meaning into words. He puzzled over this, which seemed to be a kind of electronic telepathy. Behind him, one of the voices said, "Higher, we don't want to unblock that far down." "Here?" "A little radially. There." There was a stinging pain, as if a spark had landed between Carden's shoulders and expanded in a puff.